Hello everyone, Justin Victor here, bringing you another post this week, and I'm very excited for what Dr. Eric and Jillian have just brought out to you, discussing the topic of oneness and being distinct, which I think is fantastic because it's so counterintuitive and just way out there that it's kind of hard to address at first glance because you look at it and you think, well, how can our oneness be distinct? And then you have to put it in the frame of reference. So I'm going to kind of delve into this a little bit and discuss how I feel about the concept and the best way I was able to interpret it. So I think the biggest thing when addressing these two areas is to bring up the question, why, not are. So oneness is distinct, but we have to say, how is it distinct? And the best way that I was able to come up with this from my own experiences involves putting it into context in this physical space. Now, it might be a little hard to grasp the concept, but from reading Solomon Speaks and Reconnecting Your Life, delving into passages from the study group, and contemplating the mind-boggling questions that Dr. Eric and Jillian have graciously put out there as our homework, I was able to come to an understanding in this area where I now perceive this physical space that we're in, that we call reality, as an opportunity. So the best way I can describe our essence and where it exists is in another realm. That's the best word I can assign to it, but how I visualize it is we have our essence, which composes or is made up of our heart and soul, and to a certain extent our mind, but I don't feel that it plays a significant role in this other realm. And that makes up everything we are, existing in all planes simultaneously. Now, from this perspective, I view all of us being present in this physical plane as an opportunity to learn and embrace our mission, which is, of course, to realize our oneness and how, as we grow and suffer, others do the same along with us. And so I feel like not only is the present a gift, but also that us coming down here or from wherever we were in that other realm is our opportunity to learn how to accomplish our mission. This is a fantastic chance for us to, I don't know the best word to say, maybe descend instead of transcend, just kind of trying to find a good antonym for it, but come out of that spiritual essence that we are omnipresent in for that other realm and come into this physical plane. And that is our opportunity to accomplish the mission from a different being, I'll say. So getting into the point that was made about how our oneness is distinct. So I believe that correlates directly with our manifestation in this physical space. And I say this because we are all one in that we're connected, we suffer and grow together, but this is distinct not from others around us, but rather our physical manifestation in this space. We are not connected so much as physically, but we have our spiritual aura about us and our essences that are all intertwined. So when I say distinct, and I'm just going to refer to it as being separate here, our oneness is separate from our physical manifestation in this space. And kind of the best analogy I can think of to describe this is how we are all from, I think it might have came out of Solomon actually, where we are all blooming from the same flower, yet we land at different parts of the field. So we're all from the same source in that other realm, but once we come into this physical reality and we manifest in ways that are processed and visualized by our senses, and dominantly, if we are not attuned to the frequencies, by our thinking mind, then that is where we have our distinctness in oneness. That's where we're separate, and it comes to our physical manifestations. The best thing that happened, also one of the worst, is when I had a big injury a few years ago, and I did the worst things I could have to my body and mind that I thought was right at the time. That was all conscious thought. I was nowhere near as engaged or involved in the ebb and flow of the frequencies as I am now, but that physical manifestation that we are all in was so overpowering for me at that time that it really drew out that distinctness of the oneness, that physical manifestation that is separate from our oneness and being connected. So what I'm trying to say is that our oneness remains distinct when we descend from that other realm, enter into this physical space, and have our independent, conscious thoughts that are receiving cues from our senses about our physical environment. And I feel that that is directly linked to our ego, how we feel about ourselves. And don't get me wrong, the ego is a fantastic tool, but that's where it's limited to. It's our guide in this physical space. So in the other realm, where we came from in the source, we are not governed by the ego. I believe when we transition, when we descend from that realm, the ego is a byproduct, or essentially our ticket, into this physical space. And it's great. It allows us to take a step back when we're overreaching, look into ourselves a little bit, maybe retreat when we need to. But like Dr. Eric says, we can't let it become overpowering when it comes to taking the whole being into account, the heart and soul. Because once you reach further with the ego, it becomes like one facet on the diamond where you run into a problem when you emphasize one over the other instead of looking at the bigger picture. So I think our ego and everything that manifests physically that is a direct byproduct of being in this space is what characterizes us being distinct, but also retaining our oneness. So I hope that cleared up any thoughts you may have had about this. And it was a very, I'm trying to find the best word for it, counterintuitive, I suppose, topic. And looking at it at first, I had to allow my heart and soul to have that conversation and my mind to jump in to maybe grab some thoughts from it so that I could bring this to you. And I hope that you enjoyed how I interpreted it, and I really appreciate any feedback or thoughts you have about my interpretation. So thank you very much. I love you all, and I'll talk to you later.